I'm speaking with Dustin Ortiz, who's going to take on Matheus Nicolau Pereira at UFC on Fox 30. That goes July 28th in Calgary, Alberta. Thanks so much for doing this, Dustin.
What's going on with you?
What's going on? It's a busy time, busy schedule in the MMA world coming up. This card right around the corner. Um, let's jump off there. So, how is the training coming along? How far into camp have you begun your full camp, or still a little ways out?
Yeah, man, you know me. It's full camp, 24 hours, 24/7, all day, every day of the year. I'm constantly working. I'm constantly improving in all aspects of this. You know what I mean? It's not just throwing punches. This is a business, So right after a fight, recovery, that's part of it as well, So it's a lifestyle. It's a 24-hour, 24/7 type deal, So we're in full camp all the time.
Yeah, right. So where are you at right now, and where have you been training?
Right now, I'm in Dublin, California, at Combat Sports Academy. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I head down to AKA and get in some work there. So I juggle the two, and it keeps me fresh. It keeps me with different training partners, and I get a little conditioning at Cooper Sports, and
Oh.
keep on keeping on.
Well, that's interesting because I haven't talked to you in a while, but I think the last time I talked to you, you're still out Midwest. Am I remembering that correctly?
Has it been that long?
Probably.
What's the deal with that, man?
I don't know. I suck.
Well, my phone's always on. You know that.
Yeah, right. So how long have you been out in Cali then?
I've been out here for a week now. So, this will be my first week. I was just back home in Nashville training there. A couple different places. There's a couple different gyms that I go to. I bounce around for different things. Before that, I was out in Canada training with the guy. And now I'm back out here, So I've been nonstop training since my last fight.
So maybe that's what I'm recalling, actually, because you mentioned Nashville. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe the last time I talked to you, your camp had solely been in Nashville. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. I did a camp in Nashville, which was, it was very good. Just putting it all together in the fight was where I struggled. And so that's why I'm no longer there. The guys here at CSA, the guys and girls, they're all very, very high level, tough and smart fighters here. So you can't ask for anything better than that.
Well, let's talk about Pereira. He's gone undefeated in the UFC so far. Have you watched much footage on him? What's your take on him?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched any footage on him right now.
Wow.
I'm just getting here with fresh coaches. So we'll sit down, we'll look at it. They offered me the fight, and I still didn't even, see any of his fights, and I just said yes. I've never turned down any fights. Maybe asked for a different, a different date on a certain fight. But that's the extent of that. I haven't really dug too deep quite yet. I will do that. Trust me, I will study him. But right now, I'm just getting better at what I do. I'm focusing on where I can improve and strengthening my strengths where I stand right now. So that's where I'm at today.
So have you at least looked at his record and the two names that kind of pop when you look at his record and his wins? He's got a win over John Morago, who's scored some big victories lately, and obviously has been in the contender mix at 125 for a while. And then he also has a win over Luis Smoka.
Yeah, I know that much, but besides that, I'm telling you, I haven't done any research on this kid. I am solely focused on what I'm doing and how I can better myself. After my last fight, I've been asking for somebody ahead of me. I want to go up. I know that I fought a lot of those guys, but I'm trying to move forward and fight the champion. I want to be the champion. And so when they offer me somebody, that's behind me, it's like, okay, that's good and all, but my focus right now is in what has been the last couple weeks and months since my last fight has been how can I improve myself. So there's a time and a place to break down my opponent and really dig into who he is, even outside of fighting. I take it a step further than that. Who he's training with, and all that. What is his why? In mixed martial arts, everybody thinks people have to fight for a certain reason, and that's their why. So I'm going to dig into that and really fight the heart and the soul of this guy, along with his technique and his cardio. So we'll get settled in with these coaches and these training partners, and then dial in on the opponent.
Right. Yeah, and for people that don't know, right now he's sitting in the number 11 spot in the flyweight division. You're number 10. So, yeah, not a guy who's ahead of you in the rankings. But in terms of the frequency of this fight, I mean, you had your last fight in January, big win over Alexandre Pantoja, and now you had this in July. Were you hoping to get in before this, Dustin? Would you have fought sooner, or is this a good timeline for you?
It's a tough one. I would have liked to got in a little bit sooner, but I believe in perfect timing. So they gave me enough notice for this fight because I was traveling a little bit there, and it all worked out fine. I'm going to be able to get another fight in. I like at least 3 fights a year. Can't do this forever. I've been saying that for a while because I've heard a lot of the older guys say that, more knowledgeable guys say, hey, get in there and do it while you can, So I do it for the thrill. I do it for the challenge. And so, I keep it busy, and I like to get in 3 to 4 fights. So if it would have been anything past this, I would have been like, oh, man, really, guys, let's get serious here and put me in. But worked out.
Yeah. You've got some momentum behind you right now. You're coming off. You had that ridiculously quick KO win over Hector Sandoval. Then you have the win over Pantoja, as I mentioned. And how has that been for you? Rebounding from the loss of Brandon Moreno, and how do you feel overall in terms of what's kind of led to those successes? Is there anything different you've been doing, or is it just a matter of implementing your game plan in those fights?
Yeah, absolutely. The Hector fight was an amazing comeback fight. Also, my loss. He caught me. I got caught, but I don't. He didn't beat me up. I feel like I was winning the fight, so everything was going well, and then I got caught. He timed it perfectly, caught me, and beat me in the scramble after that, and so. It's really what I've been focusing on is just kind of sharpening up defense, letting my punches go and continuing to bring them back to my face, keeping everything just a little bit sharper. I'm kind of going there and I like to switch. I like to get the takedown. I like to make it a grind, make it a fight, just wear on these guys, But at the same time, after that fight, I've realized, okay, let's be a little bit crisper, a little bit sharper in what we're doing with our attacks and with our just wearing on them. There's a little bit smarter of a way to do that. So that's kind of how I've been. I wouldn't say it's completely different, but more aware of those kind of things. And then Pantoja, what a tough fighter, man. What a tough guy. He's been on such a winning streak, and then I didn't see the fight with him and Brandon, but I heard that he pretty much did the same thing he tried to do to me and just was able to implement a lot more damage on Brandon. So, I think that says a lot for me going in there, and he got my back, and I was able to, stay cool, calm, relax, defend when I need to, punch when I need to, get the escape, and put that pressure on him, So building that win streak that it's going to take. Got a super tough opponent coming up, undefeated in the UFC. John Moraga, he's very impressive right now. So I feel like he beat John when John was kind of like stuck in between, like he's not sure if he's going to be fighting still or what, you know. So I think he fought him right at the right time to win that fight. But since that fight, he's looked really good, you know. So and then Smoka, you know, he was able to pull off that win and drop him, and it was very impressive. So he's looking to come in and pick me apart, and I think, you know, my focus is let's get another 15-second knockout. Let's submit this dude. Let's finish this guy impressively to let him know, like, hey, I'm not just here to keep these guys from getting ahead of me. You know, I feel like that's the kind of position they put me in right now. I've been, you know, 8, 9, 10, and now they want to keep pushing me back to 12 and push me out. Well, that ain't going to happen. I'm here to stay, and I'm here to move forward, and I got to prove that July 28th against this young, up-and-coming, next best thing prospect. You know, I've had him before in Justin Scoggins. I was able to put a stop to all that nonsense. Ray Borg, you know, he came into the UFC undefeated, and those were two guys that I beat, you know, back to back, and look at them. They're still very high-level fighters. I mean, Ray Borg's already got his title shot, you know, before me, and a lot of the guys that I fight and, you know, maybe come up short. Wilson Hayes, he got his title shot, you know. They're all getting them, and I'm just waiting for the perfect time, my time, perfect timing, and I think it'll be after this fight. It'll give me a top 5 guy that I need, get through them, and then got yourself a new champion.
Yeah, that kind of ties into my next question, because 125 is such a unique situation because you have Demetrius as the champ, and he's beaten so many of the top guys already that the road to a title shot isn't as long, I would say, as some of the other divisions. Do you feel that way too?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's we're in a very when you know each fighter and you know the weight class, man, it's a very interesting weight class. It's a very interesting thing to kind of sit back and say, like, oh, like it makes each fight that much more interesting, because a win or a loss could either boost you up into a title shot, or it could drop you way back, and now here you are fighting off guys that are coming in, the new guys, the up-and-comers, the champions in other organizations, you know. So each fight is very important. And each one, you know, people think that, oh, this is a title contending, like this is my title shot. Like, no, this fight right here is my title shot. Because I win this, and that's one more step closer to the actual title. So everyone's a shot. You know, this is my shot at becoming that much closer. They're all title shots in my head.
Have you been kind of surprised that there's been talk about having Henry Cejudo fight Demetrius again, though? I mean, considering how quick and lopsided the first fight was?
Oh, man. You know, he got caught. Henry is a very smart, and he's a smart fighter. He's a grinder. He has what it takes, absolutely. Can he pull it off? Well, that's why we fight. You know, that's why we get in the cages, to see if he can't do it. Everybody has their night. You know, you could go in there, and same thing. He catches DJ with the body shot, with the knee or whatever. He goes down. He wins the fight. You know what I mean? So can he catch him? Put him in the cage, and let's find out. Am I surprised? No, absolutely not. You know, every fighter is treated differently, and he's in a position where they treat him very well. So if he can use that to his advantage and get the title shot, absolutely. I mean, I don't know who else he's going to fight. Let's give him. I don't know who all he's fought yet. Maybe Jussier would be a good one.
Yeah.
Just due to he's on a winning streak as well, so you can't really lose to Benavidez beat Sergio and then get your title shot like right away. You beat one guy, you know, like you might need to earn it a little bit more. So put him in there against Jussier, and then the winner of that gets the title shot. You know, Jussier's he's been on a winning streak since he's lost to Ray Borg. You know, let's see how that goes. But like I said, I don't pay too much attention to each and every single guy. I like to focus on what I can get better at. So those are some what's in my mind right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said there. I personally, I mean, I like watching Henry fight. I think there's some interesting things, challenges that he could pose to Demetrius, but I just, because he's only got that one win since, I just don't really think. I also think for the sake of the division, I don't know how much buzz there's going to be behind that fight, and I've always said that I'd really like to see Demetrius get more recognition, and yeah, it's too bad that there's not that. The TJ fight fell through or something like that to really get him, more of the spotlight.
Yeah, it's you know what, I feel like the 25ers and the 35ers, it's just there is no guys that are going to stand out, even if they came in like the just had that it factor, as they call it. You know, like this guy has it. He's well-spoken. He fights really well. He's exciting. He pulls off spinning shit, and you know his ground game is great. In the big population of mixed martial arts, the littler guys, even for boxing, they're most exciting, but they get the littlest recognition. You know, so the weight class is always going to be just that. You know, a good entertainment, but not enough to really sell billions of dollars in pay-per-view sales. So I don't feel DJ. I don't feel he's the problem at all. I feel like he's happy and content with what he's doing. It's working well for him, and so he's going to keep doing what he's doing. So you know, either way you look at it, it could be exciting for some people, but I think overall the weight class will never be the heavyweight division.
Yeah, you're probably right. And, while I have you, last question. We've got Darren Till versus Stephen Thompson going down this Saturday in Liverpool. Who do you like in that fight?
Man, I like Till. I like the guy. I met him at the fighter retreat, and dude was just focused, man. Like, I'm not really much of a social person either. I like to kind of keep to myself, and I kind of just found him in the back, like observing, like watching other fighters, and just the dude looked like he had it in his mind that he was already going to be champion. Like, he knew what was up, and I think his talent and his drive, it's all one full circle, and it's moving straight towards the title shot, So this will be a great test for him. It's a different kind of style that Wonder Boy brings. He's going to be doing a lot of funky things that not a lot of guys do, so it's hard to train for.
Yeah.
His kicks are going to be kind of coming from different angles along with his punches, so it's a little bit different. But what I like about it is who's going to implement their game plan the most, who's going to stick to it, and if it gets a little, adversity going on, who can make those adjustments, and if he's able to do all those things, I think he's more than champion material at this point, So I'm going to go with Till on this. I'm excited for the guy.
Yeah, it's such a pick'em fight for me because, like you mentioned, Steven's style is so tough, and he's been a top contender for so long. And Till, his biggest win was the win over Cowboy, of course. But there's still a lot of variables that we don't really know about him. We haven't really seen him get tagged, in trouble. There's the aspect that he's going to be fighting in Liverpool. Is he going to be able to deal with that pressure? Will the pressure actually boost him to new heights? Will it hurt Steven's performance? There's just so many variables to this fight. It's going to be a fascinating day.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what's exciting. That's what people want to see, and especially like the real fans, like the people that follow these guys and know a lot of them, not just, the guy yelling in the back, punch him in the face. And is much more than that, and that's what is so intriguing. All those little details to see, like, how he handles every little situation. So if he handles it perfectly and keeps going forward and asking for more and pulls out the win, like, that's what champions do.
Mm-hmm. Well, your fight with Matheus has outstanding potential, and the whole card really. I mean, you've got Eddie Alvarez versus Dustin Poirier, you got Joanna Jędrzejczyk taking on Tecia Torres, Jose Aldo versus Jeremy Stephens. So it's a stacked card, and I think a lot of people are excited to see it. So, Dustin, thanks so much for taking this time out, and enjoy Happy Memorial Day.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. We are the main event, as always, the flyweight division. July 28th, I will stay shopping.